Hey guys, so hope your Monday's going good. I'm actually in one of my favorite places, my car, as you can see. It's actually raining out here. Feels good though. I like the rain. It calms everything down. It's just a reflective time for me. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was letting go. Two words, but by far the one of the hardest thing to do in life is let go. Whether you're letting go of a mate that cheated, a friend that backstabbed you, a dear loved one in death. Letting go of the old personality, the old you. Letting go of traumas, of hurt, abuse, pain. Letting go is not easy to do. But I just want to let you know you have help. You have company in this battle, in this fight. You know, today I was feeling all sorts of different ways. And a dear friend of mine's called me and he said, I called you today to praise you. I called you because I wanted to praise you because I feel like you probably haven't been praised today. It's like I wanted to praise you because I don't think you really understand how much I love you as a person. The woman that I see, the person that I've come to know from how you handle things, how you interact with people, it's like you should be praised. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little teary eyed because I'll be honest, I wasn't praising myself today. As a matter of fact, today I was beating myself up. Today's one of those days where I was just mad at me. Was I mad? I was mad because I'm not getting over this breakup. I'm mad because I'm still sitting about here around the place thinking about this guy. I'm mad because I resulted to being in my car, even though I liked it, but I wasn't always this person hiding out in your car because their feelings is too much for them to handle. So I wasn't praising me today, despite being grateful that I woke up, despite being thankful that I had three beautiful children. That's mine. One of them you can see all in the camera saying hi. He's about to talk to me, despite the fact that he knows I'm doing something. What happened? Yeah, I'm okay. hmm You're already out, so you might as well stay out. I'm doing something. But yeah, that's my young guy. Love you too. But I wasn't praising myself today. I wasn't praising myself for being such a good mom. I wasn't praising myself for being such a good sister, a good daughter, a good friend, a good person in this society. I was just like beating myself down because I didn't get one thing right, which was a relationship that wasn't even my fault that it ended anyway. So he called to say that, and I was happy because I know I'm not alone in this. I'm not alone in this fight. You know, when he called, I was chopping it up. When he called, we usually chop it up a little bit, and we always talk. We talk spiritual. We just talk. All right. Sometimes we always hit that spiritual note because he's a man of God, as I'm trying to be a woman of God. And I was telling him, I shared something with him. I asked him for his honest opinion because I'm all about honesty. Like, if I say something and you feel like it's wrong, I need you to correct me, check me, because at the end of the day, my circle, the people in my circle are the ones that's going to help me to become a better person each day. And it's to help me help myself. So if I'm wrong, if I'm out of pocket, by all means, correct me. So I said to him, like, I'm going to need your honest opinion on something. And I shared with him something that I was going to write or send to my ex as a final text message. And it was that scripture in Romans 2:21. And the scripture said, basically the gist of that scripture is, do you who say do not steal, do you steal? Do you who say I practice the law, do you transgress against the law? Do you who abhor idols, do you rob temple? And then I explained to him that I always add a little bit more to the scripture. The Bible says you're not supposed to add to it and take it away, but I add it for myself. I don't put it in there and say like the Bible said it. No, I just put it to myself. Because anytime there's a defect in me or others, because sometimes we can point out other people's defect, but we can't point out ours. So whenever there's a defect that I see in others or myself, I add to it. And I'm gonna read what I add to it because that's just me, and that's what makes me wonderfully made. I told him, I said, I add these things to keep myself in check because this is the personification and the embodiment of who I am, who I want to be. And then I went on to tell him, like, I was bred by men or women, but I was trained by God. So I always add, do you who demand truth, do you tell lies? Do you speak lies? Do you who expect faithfulness, do you act unfaithfully? Do you who speak about morals, do you act immorally? Do you who want to be trusted, do you not trust others? Do you who begs forgiveness, do you not forgive? Do you who craves love, do you not love? And I explained to him every action that I mentioned in that, any action that I put out there towards others is what I want to see in return for myself, and is how I treat other people. I used to wonder why I'm like this. Why, for the life of me, I will beg somebody to stay that wants to leave. Why I will work hard for a relationship that I was the only one putting effort in. Why, even when I never did anything, if I've never done anything to you, I would say I'm sorry a million times to try to get you to understand, to forgive me for whatever I might have done. Why, despite me knowing my value and my worth, I always lower myself to put others above me. And I used to feel like there's something wrong with me. But I remember reading this book to my kids, and I love that book. They love that book. And the book was called My Mother Had a Dancing Heart. So it's about this girl who's evidently a dancer. You see that towards the end. But through every seasons when she was younger, she remembers something she and her mom used to do. Whether it's when the snow came, they would catch snowflakes. Whether it was when the fall came, they will rustle in the trees or whatever. Whether it's when it was really cold or whatever, winter, they will roast marshmallows and drink hot cocoa, toasted or whatever. And she always remembered. And towards the end of the book, actually, she's now an adult. You can tell she's bigger, way bigger. And I shot on her dancing clothes, her ballet clothes, so you can tell she's dancing. And she's ended the book by saying, my mother had a dancing heart, and she shared that heart with me. That's when it hit me. If you know my mom, if you know me, and you know Lorna, you know my mother have a given, my mother have a kind, my mother have a forgiving, my mother have a self-sacrificing heart. And she shared that heart with me. I wasn't accidentally made, because God can't make mistakes. I was wonderfully made. I wasn't made by accident. The heart, the love, the forgiveness, the desire, everything I have, well, not desires, because desires are man-made, but everything that I have that is good in me, I was meant to have. He didn't make a mistake. He didn't make a mistake with me. And for those who tried to hold on to someone that they should let go or something they should let go, he didn't make a mistake with you. There's said to be 7 stages of grief, whether it's grief through a breakup, grief through the loss of someone. 7 stages of grief. I like to tell people about that because sometimes people don't know that. A lot of times men, not all men, but some men, I want to say most men, but I don't want to do that because I haven't been all around the world, but sometimes men don't experience these griefs because honestly, most of the times when they already move on is when they're not even into you no more, is because they've already moved on before they even broke up with you. They don't get to go through that grievance stage. They just jump from one relationship to the next, causing more trauma and leaving behind, a list of trauma. But women, we're more susceptible to these pain and we've experienced them. They said there's 7 stages of a breakup, 7 stages of grief, 7 stages of heartbreak, 7 stages of anything. And in order to fully let go, to me, you have to successfully go through these stages because and sometimes it won't be like a success, not meaning like you mastered them. I'm just saying you have to go through the stages. Sometimes you might even go through some of the stages twice or even more. The first stage, desperate for answers. Everybody knows that stage. That's where you gotta find out why, and you have this. It's like a consuming desire to figure out what's happening. They're acting different. Something changed. You don't like what's going on. Your intuition's acting up. You're desperate for the answer, so you find it. Me, I ended up desperate enough to show up at this good woman's house. And even when I saw presented in front of me my answers, I went to stage 2, denial. That's when you guys can't believe it's true. I can't believe this happened. I remember saying that. I can't believe he's doing that. Like, he told me he didn't want to do this because he wanted to wait for marriage. And I'm like seeing him literally doing the opposite with this woman. Like, denial. You don't want to believe it. You can't. It's just too much to fathom. And you hit stage 3, which I've been through. Bargaining. You want to do anything basically to avoid accepting that, to avoid accepting the pain, accepting that it's over, accepting the heartbreak, accepting the deceit. So you start bargaining, bargaining chips flying all over the place. The fourth is the relapse. I think I'm stuck between 4 and 5. I'll get into 5, but fourth is relapse, where you either run back to your ex because the pain is it's just unbearable. It's an immeasurable pain that you just can't deal with. It's too much. You don't want to deal with it, or you have both bouts of strength and glory, then moments of life. I need him. I gotta go back to you. Start texting again, writing again, which is what I do with text and call. 1 minute I'm like fine, and then the next minute I'm texting him. Then stage 5 is that anger, where you are like in the middle of knowing that now it's time to go, and then you start getting mad because you really start seeing things for what it is. I didn't do anything to you. You did wrong. It's your error. Blah blah blah. So you're angry. You're angry that it's ending. You're angry that it's over. You're angry that you have to accept it. You're angry that they're not listening. Anger they're not answering their calls. Anger that they're not answering their texts. You're just angry. I'm stuck between 4 and 5. I ain't gonna lie. I had my moments of anger, and then through the anger, I sent him that text, that relapse. And there's step 6, that initial acceptance, where you're starting to initially accept that maybe it's done. It's done, and it's time to move on. Interruptions with my radio. Now, sometimes if it happens with that step, the initial acceptance, they say if you reach that step too fast, it might feel like a surrender, because if you accept it, then it feels like you're not fighting, you're surrendering, you're giving up, you're not, maybe you didn't really love that you couldn't be real if I'm just willing to throw in a towel if I'm giving up. It's not necessarily true. Some people hit different stages at different times, but quote unquote that's the 6th stage. And then the 7th stage is that redirected hope. Some people, it could be you redirect your hope and your faith and your love and your trust in God. Some people, it could be a dear friend that they could rely on. You gotta beat my son because he out here and it's raining like he don't see it's raining. 1 second. Maximus, you gotta go inside. You gotta go inside. It's raining real hard. Go inside. Go inside. Yeah, so some people redirect their hope to a hobby. Sure, some people go to school, some people write. I like to write. I do this. This is my redirected hope. I'm not really fully there yet because, like I said, I'm still stuck between a certain stages. I may hit other stages sometimes. I still sometimes go back to stage 1 that, I need answers. For some people like me, at times, that redirected hope could be your kids. It could be your family. It could be your friends. It could be even yourself. You put in that hope, that trust, that faith back in yourself. Like, because you know the amazing person that you are, whether you have flaws or not. You know the type of person you are. So redirected hope. You're not alone. These books, these things are out there because it's true. They know that people suffer from those that two-letter word. That not two letters, but that two-word sentence, letting go, right? Or let go. I read this book, The Art of Letting Go. It's about a person who experienced her own trauma that she was dealing with, letting go, and had to learn to let go. And it's not easy. I'm telling you right now, throughout the day, especially when I'm doing this, I feel great. Oh, I'm like, why am I? Why am I thinking about him? Like, you're 39 years old, still live with both your parents. You don't have your own house. Like, you can't even like get a good car, like a not used car because you got terrible credit. You know, you're 39 and you're still playing games with women's heart, cheating all over the place. Like, you're not even truthful, and you're not man enough to say sorry and accept your wrongs. Like, you're casting blame like babies. Like, there's so much when I'm in a good moment, when I'm at a good peak, I could say with confidence, like, dude, what do you got that I don't have? Like, what can you contribute to me? And he had other things that I can't talk about, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's like, ew. But then that all time low comes when I'm at home, the kids are in bed, and I'm not occupied with them, and I'm a woman alone with my thoughts and my desires and my loneliness and my pain. And then I hit that low again, and I miss them all over again. I miss that whole lump of nothing. Because honestly, that's not what defines a person. You know, sometimes when you're mad, you start throwing out a whole bunch of material stuff, but material stuff is not what defines a person. I loved him for the personality that he was displaying, but you just see, the thing is, you can't put up a charade for so long. Eventually, you will be figured out, and that's what happened sadly in this case. But you're not alone. Whether you're experiencing someone dying, like I said, whether it's a friend that lost your trust, a boyfriend that cheated, abused you, even yourself, if you're mad at yourself for the way you've self-inflicted, hurted yourself, whether you through a suicide attempt, whether you're cutting yourself, whether you're purposely going in these relationships with these no good men and somewhat self-inflicting pain on yourself because you know you deserve better, but you just don't want to leave, you're not alone. Not only am I going through it, but there's so many people around the world that's going through it. That's why my channel is here. This is my way of reaching out to you for help and reaching out to give you help if you need it. Letting go. 2 words. The hardest thing you may ever have to do. But we can do it. We can get through it. But no matter what, don't let anyone change you from being who you are. There's a scripture in the Bible, I think it says, I planted, Apollos watered, but it was God who made it grow. Let God continue to mold and refine you. Don't change yourself because of trauma. Don't change yourself because somebody's not on your level, because somebody hurt you, because somebody wasn't mature, somebody wasn't God fearing. Don't change the beautiful person that you are to please or match anybody's nonsense. Because you were wonderfully made. You're not a mistake. I'm not a mistake. You're not a mistake. God is greater than our hurts. And the funny thing is, he sees the whole picture. He sees the whole picture, so he knows the whole truth. Sometimes relationship ends on misunderstanding. You can always have confidence that God knows the whole truth. Sometimes relationships end because one person can't forgive. God is greater than our hearts. He already said, I extend forgiveness to you. You basically got to accept it. He said, I already I'm saying I want to draw close to you. James 4:8, draw close to God, he'll draw close to you. But the funny thing is, he already took the steps. He's waiting for you to come. You're not in this fight alone. Whether it's me, whether it's God, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family, whether it's a hotline, you're not in this struggle alone. Letting go is hard to do. So many people sing songs about it. So many people write poems about it. So many people write books about it. It's not easy to let go. But we can do it. My mother had a loving heart. My mother had a caring heart. My mother had a self-sacrificing heart. My mother had a heart to please others. My mother had a heart to forgive. My mother had a long-suffering heart. My mother had a strong heart, which no matter how much it was stabbed, poked, ripped apart, it always mended itself back together to give it to the next person, even give it to that person that ruined it. My mother had an amazing, wonderful, beautiful heart, and I'm sharing that heart with you. Leave a comment. If you're going through something, leave a comment. If you need some company, leave a comment. I'll respond. I'm hoping that I can encourage you. You can encourage me, and we can help each other in this journey of letting go. No matter what your letting go is, we can do this together.